Hey guys, Jamie back again with Heroic Scale Gamers. We're on the next and final step for our jet bike. Um, a lot of the techniques that we're going to use on the riders were actually done in the troop video. So if you'd like to see how we did those, like the shoulder pads, the armor plates, all of the line highlighting that we did, go back and watch those videos. I'm not going to repeat those here because it's just going to be something that we've already done. But there is one effect that I didn't on the that I did on the troops that I didn't actually get to show in the video. So I'm going to show you how to do that here, and that's going to be on the top knot of the rider. So essentially, we're using the same colors that we used on the bike on the rider's hair that we will also do on the shoulder pads and some of the armor plates to tie them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our original grass green color and we're going to paint the entirety of the top knot. So we're just going to base coat it like we would any other surface. So we're going to get complete coverage. And then while that's drying, I'm going to work on the weapon haft and the blade, which we're going to do with some lead belcher. And then I have a couple of really cool colors that I'm going to do on the weapon haft to give it a interesting look. It'll make it stand out and looks real nice. Oh, and off camera, we were looking over the model and there were a couple gems that we missed. So we missed this one on the very front of the nose piece, which we painted in the same red. And then we have this big one here that I decided to do in purple. Get it up there so you can see it. Focus that in real quick. Oops. There we go. So you can see the exact same effect. Three-color triad, white dot in the center, and then a little Lamian medium over the top of it to finish it off. And once again, we just did that so that it would give it a cool look. So once again, we're just going to make sure we got this completely base coated. And then we're going to let it dry. Perfect. So now we're going to take some lead belcher from Citadel. We're just going to paint the spear tip. Give it a nice complete coating on both sides. Make sure that we get both of the front edge and the back edge. And that's going to give it a nice finished look. And essentially, we're going to do, you would do this for anything that you want to be metallic on it. So like, for example, the engine here, do the exact same thing. Get a nice lead belcher base coat on it. Then once the lead belcher has dried, we're going to take some Nuln oil mixed 50-50 with some Lamian medium, just like our Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to coat all of the metallics with it. Just douse it right on there. And then once again, what that's going to do is it's going to allow for the ink wash to really set into the recessed areas and only slightly tint the main panels. So we'll still have a nice shiny silver. It'll darken it just slightly, but it'll really set off those recessed edges. Yeah, that's why we did that. So the Lamian medium helps cut the surface tension. So instead of just sitting over the flat surfaces, it's going to kind of find all the nooks and crannies and all those little recesses and shade them beautifully. But yeah, you can do it straight from the pot. But in doing so, a lot of times what happens is it will also darken the flat panels. This allows you to have one less step, because a lot of times what you would have to do after that to shine it back up is you'd have to recoat it with the lead belcher. Doing it in this way is just saves us a step. I'm also going to touch up a little bit of this mask here that it looks like I missed when I was doing it originally. All right, so as you can see, our top knot is nice and dry. So now we're going to take a little bit of our jade green that we use. You notice we're using the same colors, and that's so that it ties it all together. Now, what you want to do here is you want to actually wipe off some of that paint on a paper towel, or as you can see on my butcher paper here, and then you're going to draw it over the surface, and it's going to catch on all of the hard edges, leaving the dark color in the recesses. I'm going totally against the grain, exactly. And that's going to help catch, like I said, all of those raised edges of the top knot itself and leave that nice dark green in those recesses. It's just a quick and easy way of bringing those colors together and giving it a completed look. So kind of see how that works. Just really quick and easy, nice and neat. Now for the weapon half, what we're going to take is some Screamer Pink from Citadel. You'll notice I use a lot of Citadel colors. No particular reason. I know a lot of people hate on their paint pots, and I understand that. I just like the Citadel color range. It's super consistent. I've been using it for decades, and it's just a known quantity for me. I know what I'm going to get every time I use it. So to each their own. There really is no, this paint range is better than that paint range. They're all great products. A lot of times with painters and with painting, it just comes down to personal preference. And for me, I like what Citadel does, so I like to use a lot of their colors. But I find that I don't use them exclusively. Reaper makes a great set of miniature paints. I really like their Master Paint series. Pro Acryl, which is kind of new on the scene from Monument Hobbies, they make a very nice set of colors. I'm waiting on my Duncan Rhodes paint set that I got through his Kickstarter. I know they're going to be starting fulfillment here, I believe, in August. And can't wait to get my hands on those, because those look to be very, very nice looking paints as well. So I use some Vallejo too. Army Painter. I like the Army Painter paint system. I think it is ingenious, especially for people who are not great painters. They are fantastic products for beginner painters, and it's a nice system to get you a nice finished product very quickly and easily that is repeatable over and over again. And I can tell you from a painting standpoint, that is probably the number one thing that keeps people from painting their miniatures, because they feel they can't achieve a solid product that they can repeat over and over again that looks nice. And I think that Army Painter has found a way to tap into that. Well, as you can see here, I'm just making sure I get the entire half coated with this color. And then when it dries, it's kind of like a maroon. It looks, as it's going on, it looks like it's a purple, but it's not. It's actually a maroon color. And I just like the way that it looks. I think it's really sharp. There, you can kind of get a look at it. Once again, it's just another color that we can add to the miniature to make it stand out. So now that that's on, we're going to take our Nuln Oil. We're going to go over our metallics real quick. I always like to start with the engine here. So I'd love to hear in the comments below what paints you guys like to paint with and why. Is there a certain type that you like, and if so, what do you like about it? Are there some that you don't like? What are the reasons that you don't like them? Do you find that there is a paint system that you think would be nice to try? And if it's something that we can get our hands on, we'd love to do some videos on it. I'd love to hear about it. All right, so now we're going to let that dry. But as you can see, we have our cool looking top knot. We have our haft of our weapon painted. All of the silver details are now finished. And then all we really have to do is paint the shoulder pads, the armor plates, and do all the line highlighting like we did on our troop models. If I snag one real quick, I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. So with these, red was the color of the squad. So essentially the same thing is going to happen on these, but we're going to paint them in green. So these pieces here, which are the shoulder pads and the backpack area, will be painted in these same green tones. And then we're going to do the line highlighting on the black like we did. The knee pads will also be painted in the green. And then I haven't decided if we're going to two-tone these bodysuits or not. We may or we may not. It just kind of depends. We're still kind of figuring out if we like it. So if it's something that you guys like and would like to see on these, comment below and maybe we will continue it forward. But as of that, this is pretty much the finishing steps of the jet bikes. So the next time you see them, they will be completed. And have a nice night, and we'll see you next time.